Hey people, it's Kelly of Print Pray Slay, and I am here with Brenda. And this is another episode of Cookies and Christ. So, through my Patreon, we have this opportunity to Bible study chronologically together. So, we are in a new book of Numbers. So, this is our first dive into it, and I'm so thankful for Brenda to be here with me again. I believe like this is the third time, right? Yep,
Hi.
third time. So I'm just really excited to hear what she has learned. I love how she does her explanations and all the additional little tidbits and cookies that she brings to the table. So I'm gonna do the flow is I'm gonna do like an overview of everything that went on from my perspective, and then we dive deeper and we hear from Brenda, we hear from me, and we go into like our personal notes that we either studied or that we just picked up past the surface of what I'm gonna explain. So let's just get into it. We're gonna go from numbers 1 through number 27. And I'm gonna be reading from my Bible. That's why I'm gonna be looking down. Okay. So this section here is called "Preparing for the Journey of to the Promised Land." So this is a story where Israel is preparing to enter the Promised Land in Canaan. So in order for that preparation to happen, there are some things that are going on within this community. So the first thing that's going on is Moses is called by God to take this census. And that is like an official count of the population of Israelites. He does this, I believe, twice. This is an enormous task. Once I actually were able to see the number, the book of the amount of individuals, not even all individuals, is mainly men over certain, like the qualifications of those that would be able to go to battle.
Mhm.
Um, so there is an account for all of those families. They classify them as tribes and clans, but they are specific families based on the sons of Jacob. So if we can, I guess, do a brief little, really quick overview. Um, these are my notes, really quick from my studies. It's saying like we have been following this family for like over 2,000 years. And so you got Genesis, then you got Adam, then you got Noah, his son Shem, then Abraham, then Isaac, then Jacob, and Jacob's 12 sons. But then Joseph has these additional two sons as well, that gets like twisted up in here. And we land here where Moses and Aaron are delivering this news to these tribes of the 12 sons, um, that after they pulled them out of slavery, how they're supposed to go about and bring forth this great nation. And so they're separated and arranged, more so not separated, but arranged into the tribes or clans of each of these 12 sons. So they are, let me see if I have any. I don't want to go deep into my notes. Let me see. Mm. All right. I do want to point out that this did not include the tribe of Levi in what's called the registration. They have this other special task, but they're just not included in this arrangement of tribes. They are centered around the tabernacle, but not necessarily in the other tribes that are surrounding in a different way. But they do have a very important task that we will get into. So they are um, brought forth as like the assistants to the priest. Some of them are priests, but not all Levi's. Not Levi's, like the jeans. Not all Levites are considered to be priests. Okay. Um, so there is a registration of them as well. So Jacob, I mean not Jacob, Moses does count them um to see like their record, and they came up to be considered the redeeming as the firstborn sons for the other Israelites. So they are set aside. When they came up to their numbers, they were about 273 short to cover the firstborns of the Israelites. And because of that, the Israelites were able to do an offering of silver in order for their family to also be accounted for and these firstborn sons. So you have the Levites, and then you have the offering. This is based on the direction that God set forth in Leviticus. as far as like him having his hand on the firstborn sons of the people of Israel. Um, let's see what happens after that. Then they go into the duties of these three specific clans. Bear with me. Hold on. Kohathites,
Mm-hmm.
Gershonites, Gershonites,
Gershonites,
and Merarites.
Maronite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right. So those three. All right. So they have these three clans have specific duties. So the Kohathites have to deal with guarding the holy vessels. That's the ark and the lampstand, and they're like in this highest position. Um, they are supposed to carry forth these things to the next destination, but they are not supposed to touch them as they are sacred objects, or else they will surely die.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the Gershonite clan was responsible for general service and carrying loads, like the curtains and the fabrics and things of that nature. Still very important. And then the duties of the Merarites, um, were to carry the frames of the tabernacle, the cross bars, the posts, the bases, and anything that's in the courtyard walls, the pegs, the ropes, all of those accessories relating to the tabernacle. That's what they are going to, like the elements, that's what they are going to carry. And it really does the Bible does a great job of explaining that each of them are very special, even though the one particular clan does have a higher position, but all roles were very important. And I'll go into my notes on that when we come back after the summary.
Mm-hmm.
Then actually there is a section called the summary of registration, which they are talking about the numbers of the individuals in the transportation. Um, which what is that, like 2,000 and 8,000 and 3,000? It's a whole bunch of numbers going on over here. All right, about these different clans. And then lastly, in numbers 5 and 6, there is the purity of the camp. So there is the external purity, which is dealing with the people who have like skin diseases. They're not called to be harmed or anything. It's just that they're called to be separated from the others, just like was mentioned in Leviticus. And
Mm-hmm.
then it goes into the protection of, well, before that, the other purity is against, so skin issues is external, and then sin will be internal. And then there's a change of tone here that is not necessarily the tone from Leviticus. Leviticus was like, you did this, you die. You did this, somebody had to die. The calf had to die, you had to die, something had to go, some kind of um, some kind of sacrifice would have to have happened. Here, um, it's talking about restitution for wrongs being done, in which people are able to make it right with each other
Yeah.
and pay a certain amount of money, do a good deed, and things of that nature. It even goes into the same thing with marital faithfulness, and how, again, they were called to be put to death for infidelity and adultery and things like this. It was actually um this particular part in Numbers 5:11 is talking about like if the suspicion of adultery, of a woman from her husband, and how that should be handled, um and how if a husband suspects his wife of cheating, how he should bring her to the priest. And they had this whole ritual with the water in which to prove whether or not, under the eyes of God, if she really had done this terrible deed. And I have my notes on that as well. But again, overview. And then 6 is the law of the men and women who took a special vow of the Nazirite, which set them apart in a special way. And they were bound by this vow, which did not allow them to eat or drink anything that came from the grapevine. So no drinks, no grapes, no skins or anything like that. And that they were not allowed to cut their hair. They were set apart. They were holy in that way. Um, then there were things that they shouldn't do, like touch dead bodies and things like that. They would be deemed unclean. They would have to cut their hair again. Um, and then in number 6, um, well, 622, since that particular law went from 6:1 to 6:21. 6:22 is this blessing that the Lord tells Moses to say to Aaron. It says, "Tell Aaron and his sons to bless the people of Israel with this special blessing." And that blessing goes from verse 24 to 26. And then the Lord says, "Whenever Aaron and his sons bless the people of Israel in my name, I myself will bless them." So I thought that was really nice to end on a blessing after all of that for these particular notes of study. I wish all of them would do that, but there's blessing throughout. So
Yeah.
that would be my overview of everything. I have a lot of highlights, a lot of notes to go into, but it is now time for Brenda to speak.